Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. It's been a while here. Yeah, it's been a while we've posted here. That was because I have been engaged in one or two things or the other. But yeah, we're back again. Okay, so in this video, we shall continue from where we stopped in our last video. Okay, I could recall in our last video, we talked about things to take note of while writing our conceptual review. Actually, let me remind us again that those things does not or let me say is not just limited to conceptual review alone. It cuts across the entire body of the whole work, that is approaches writing or the article that we are writing. It entails everything. And I could recall that in our previous videos we talked about the issue of plagiarism, where we said that plagiarism is an academic fraud and it occurs when we use the work of another author and we refuse to give credence to the author that we use their work. And we said that plagiarism occurs in different kind of ways, and number one is, or let me say one of the way is that when we use the work of another author and then we do not give credence to the work of that person itself, which is called citation. And then it could also occur when we lift the work of another person and then claim the authorship of that particular work. It could be a sentence, it could be a paragraph. In fact, it could be a sentence, it could be a paragraph. No matter what it is, we just lift it directly from the work of the author and then we just put it in our own work without citing that person and claiming the authorship for that particular statement. That's also plagiarism. Okay, even if we pick that work directly and then put it in our own work and we cite the person without rephrasing it, it is still called plagiarism. So the ways we can avoid plagiarism, like I said in the previous video, I'm not so sure it's there, but then let me say it. The ways to avoid plagiarism is that, number one, we need to read and understand. I think I said it in the previous video. We need to read and understand whatsoever what we are reading online on the internet, or probably the journal article that we are reading, and we realize that what the author wrote on is similar to what we want to write on. Let's read to understand. Read it and understand, then write it in your own word. Is very, very important. Even after writing it in your own word, you still need to cite the author, because that shows that what you're writing, the idea does not come from your head. Yes, the original idea does not belong to you. It is because you read the work of a particular person and then it gives you the idea of what you're writing down. And to show that, citing the person now shows that another person has written something related to what you're writing down before. That's what we call cite. That's how to avoid plagiarism. And while we are doing this, the process of reading to understand, or let me say the process of avoiding plagiarism, which is reading to understand and writing in your own word. While writing in your own word is either you rephrase or you paraphrase. You read something, you understand it. While writing it in your own word, then you are rephrasing it. You are giving it a new look entirely. Or you paraphrase, that is, you rearrange the word, you use different kind of synonyms, different kind of things. So that's how to avoid plagiarism. So what we want to talk about in this video, in order not to waste our time, is citation. Citation is one of the ways to avoid plagiarism, like we talked about in our previous video. Yes, and citation is the process of giving credence to the author that we use their work in our own work. And while giving credence to the authors that we use their work in our own work, we are simply including their names inside our work. Now, there are different ways of citation, but we are talking about intent citation. And when we are talking about intent citation is putting in the name of that particular author in the body of our work. For instance, we are writing a chapter 1. A chapter 1 consists of different kind of things. We have our introduction, also background to the study, statements of the problem, and all those things. Now when we begin to write introduction, and we anything we write or the statement that we make use of, we are using the idea of somebody. Either we got a source from the internet, the journals we download, particular textbook, anything. Yes. Why doing this? Okay. Why using this? After, for instance, probably we wrote the first sentence, or the first sentence, yes, the first sentence, we wrote a categorical statement concerning the concept that we are talking about. Then, inter-citation is now putting the name of the author, the source through which we got that idea from, inside that particular work. So that's inter-citation. So to proceed, I will be showing you how to do that, including the number 2 that you see here, the rule of first mention, which is quite important. So let us forge ahead in our discussion in this video. All right. Now, I want us to consider this particular work that we are seeing here. Okay, it still cuts across what we still have here. Yeah. It still cuts across what we still have here. All right, we can see in the global context, the regulatory framework, particularly the adoption of International Financial Reporting Standard, plays a significant role in lease accounting choice. IFRS 16, effective from January 1, 2019, has led to changes in the accounting treatment of leases, requiring lessees to capitalize most leases on their statement of financial position. The adoption of IFRS 16 has resulted in a global shift towards capitalizing finance lease, making financial statements more transparent and comparable. Okay, so this particular paragraph, I just break it down into two. This particular paragraph is called from one of my articles. Now, I called it out in order to show us some things when it comes to inter-citation. Okay, so let's leave this for now. Let's leave this one for now and focus on this particular one. Okay. Yes, this is an example of inter-citation. The adoption of IFRS 16 has resulted in a global shift towards capitalizing finance leases, making financial statements more transparent and comparable. Izedomi and Ugbe 2016. Now, what I'm simply trying to show here is that I am saying that this particular statement is not my idea. Even though another person, even though I do not write it directly the way these authors has written this, I am showing that this particular idea that you are seeing, starting from the adoption of IFRS down to more transparent and comparable, is not my idea. I got the idea from the work of another person, and the work of the person through which I got the idea is Izedomi and Ugbe 2016. So this is what we refer to as inter-citation. Now, there are things I need us to take cognizance of. Yes, there are things I need us to take cognizance of. When we are talking about citation, there are different ways of inter-citation that we need to take cognizance of. This is one of the ways, but then let me take them one after the other. Now, in Nigeria, I want us to know that we use a particular style when it comes to references and citation. Different kind of schools, different kind of universities, different kind of country make use of different kind of citation style. What am I trying to say is that there are different kind of citation style. We have the upper style, we have the other style. There are lots of them. I don't know them all, but there are lots of them. But in Nigeria, and I know most of the Western country also, adopt the upper style. Yes, they adopt the upper style. When we're talking about upper, Okay, in order not to confuse us, now we use upper style for citation and references. For our references. And when we are talking about upper, A stands for American, P stands for psychology, and S stands for, oh sorry, I said S. A stands for association. Yeah, so that's the upper we are using. That's the full meaning of upper, American Psychologists Association. So that's the style we use when that's what we refer to as upper. Okay, now let's go back to what we are talking about now. There are different kind of in-text citation. Let me go back here. Yes, there are different style of in-text citation, and I'll be showing us the different kind of ways to do this. Okay, fine. Let's go back to this. One of the ways to cite an author in a particular work is probably what you see here, not probably, what you see here. This style, this particular style that you're seeing here is not probably. This particular style that you're seeing here, the adoption of IFRS has resulted in all this, and then at the end, we cite. That's number one. At the end of citation at the end of a statement. Yes. A typical example of this is what you see here. Citation at the end of a statement. That's a typical example. Now, what you see here, you saw this, what we are having here. We are having two authors that talked about this. Izedomi and Uwigbe, 2016. Now, when we are citing a statement at the end of a statement, when we are citing an author rather, at the end of a statement, and there are two authors, because everything has its rules too. There are two authors. We cite them by using this. We cite them this way. There is something I want you to note here. Sorry, there is something I want you to note here. The use of this symbol. This symbol is called ampersand. So whenever we are citing at the end of a statement, we cite this way and we use ampersand when there are two authors. Now, let's assume that we are citing at the end of the statement and we have more than one author that said something related to that particular statement. Now, when I say we have more than one author, I'm not saying that probably we have three authors as a stretch. I'm saying that probably we have the first article, which consists of probably one author or two authors. We have the second article, which might comprise of three authors. We have the third article, which might even comprise of four authors or just a single author or two authors. Do you understand? Now, let's assume that this particular statement is said by one. Is said by more than one article. Let's say that it is being said more than three articles or by three articles, with each articles having their own different range of author, starting with Izedomi 20 and Uwegbe 2016. How do we go about this? Now, I want you to take notes of what I am about to do here. Now, let's assume that the first author is Izedomi Anuwegbe. Fine. We are going to have it this way. Then we are going to put in the next author, which will be separated by a semicolon. And they will move. Now, let's assume that the second author is a sole author, that is a single author. The second article, rather, is a single author. And let's assume that the name of the second author is Hilton. Yes, Hilton 2018. That's the name of the second author, which is a single author. It's just an assumption. And then the third author, let's assume that the third author, we have, the third article rather, we have more than 3 authors. Yes. The third article, we have more than 3 authors. Now, what we are going to write here, we are still going to follow the same rule. We are going to come here, following the same rule. Let me do this. We are going to separate again by semicolon. And let's assume that the first name of the author in the fourth article is, let's assume that we have Everett. Okay. Everett et al. Then we are going to have our full stop and comma. Let's assume they wrote theirs 2020. And then we are going to put into brackets back. This is a way of citing at the end of a statement when the idea is gotten from more than one article. I know you might not understand the rules behind this. I will still talk about it. But I'm simply showing us how to cite at the end of a statement when the statement is gotten from more than 3 articles. Then number 2, the second way of citation is citation at the beginning of a statement. Citation at the beginning of a statement. Thank you. The spelling of my beginning is not correct in the first place. Okay, citation at the beginning of a statement. How do we cite when we are citing at the beginning of a statement? Now, for instance, I will still refer us back to this particular statement that we are working with here. Now, at the beginning of a statement, there are things we need to consider. We are citing at the beginning of a statement. Like the adoption of IFRS 16, I want to bring one of the citation here to be at the beginning of a statement. You know, we are linking words together. In our previous video, I could tell you that when you are writing your work, make sure you link your words together so that they are interesting to the ears when you are reading them. And even when you are writing, it is interesting to you and it's flowing, it's making sense. You know, this particular statement is called from this. Yeah, it's called from this particular statement too. I just separated them. Now, assuming, you see, I've said this. This has been said in the global context, the regulatory framework, particularly this, I've said it. So, has led to changes in the accounting treatment of leases, requiring leases to capitalize most leases on their statements of financial position. Okay, now, I want to add this to this. You see, before I said the adoption of IFRS 16 and then I said at the end. Now, this time around, I want to cite at the beginning of this particular statement. And I am joining it together with this, or probably even it might be the beginning of another paragraph for me. What are the different ways I can do it? I might say that according to, now I'm using a single author. I will show you I'm using a single author. Let's use our Hilton. According to Hilton, what do we have there? 2018. 2018. The adoption of IFRS 16, I'll continue, blah, 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 blah. You see, it's still the same statement. You understand? I might not use the word, oh, sorry, the spelling of according is not correct. Okay. Adoption, okay. So I might decide not to use that according to, I might want to say that, I might want to vary my according to be as stated by Hilton 2018, comma, the adoption of, I'll still continue like that. I might not want to say as stated by, I might want to say that as posited by Hilton 2018, comma, the adoption of, we continue, I might not want to do that. I might also say Hilton 2018 is of the position that, okay, what am I writing? It's of the position that, okay, IFRS 16 has resulted in a global blah 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 blah. Now, what I'm trying to do here is that I'm just trying to show us the different ways of writing the statements at the citing at the beginning of a statement, and different ways we can twist, rephrase, paraphrase particular statements at the beginning, or let me say a particular statement or our work or anything we are trying to do. Now, this is an example of just a single author. An example of just a single author. Now, what if it is a double author? That is, there are two authors that said the same thing. Now, we are referring to Izedomi and Uwegbe. Now, we are going to write according to Izedomi and Uwegbe 2016, comma, the adoption of IFRS 16 has resulted in a global shift towards blah 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 blah. You understand? We continue from where we stop. Now, there is something I want us to take note of here. You see, when we are citing Izedomi and Uwegbe at the end of a statement, I want us, there is something that is different. We connect them together with and, but with different sound. With and, but with different sound. What is this trying to tell us? See, when we are citing at the end of a statement, you know, our citation will be in brackets. I want us to take note of this. Our citation must be in brackets when we are citing at the end of a statement. And when we are connecting two authors together at the end of a statement, we use and, but the particular and will be an upper sound, as you can see here, just the way it is being highlighted here. However, when the same author is being cited at the beginning of a statement, we will still use an, but this time around, we are going to make use of the normal and. That is what you are seeing here. It is being highlighted here. I hope we can see the difference between the two. So that is how to cite at the beginning of a statement. Now, there is a rule that we need to understand before we conclude this video. There is a rule that we need to understand while citing. The rule to understand while citing. Rule of citation. Though I've talked about some of them in the process of explaining things to us, but I want us to know this because it's not, I separated it because it's not a different ways of inter-citation. Yes, we make use of it, but then it's a rule. Its own category is being categorized as a rule. And that is citing more than two authors. Yes, citing more than two authors. I will limit myself to citing more than two authors because the recent upper style that is now in use is now upper 2017. Yes, upper references style 2017. And there is something that I said. That's the reason why I'll be limiting myself to more than two authors. I will have said more than two authors, or probably when we are citing three authors, or when we are citing more than three authors, or when we are citing four authors. So everything can still be categorized as more than two authors because either you are citing three authors, you are citing three authors, you are citing four authors, you are citing five authors for the first time, or you are citing them for the second time. It still follow the same rules according to upper 2017 style, not 2016, because upper 2017 style is now the recent upper style that is now in usage. Okay, now citing more than two authors entails you citing three authors, citing four authors, citing five authors, citing six authors. And there is what we call the rule of first mention and second mention. But however, in upper 2017, according to what's in relation to what I'm trying to explain to you, it doesn't really matter anymore. Now, we are citing three authors. Let's assume that this particular, we have Everett here, Abby. Now, this particular author, this particular article that we cited here, Everett, let's assume that there are three authors in it. We have Everett, we have Lovett, we have Lilibet. Now, upper 2017 says that when you are citing these three authors, 2020, when you are citing these three authors for the first time, you do not list out their names like this. You use the word author. All you need to do is to adopt the name of the first author. Please take note of this. I said upper 2017, not 2016. 2017 is the recent version of 2016. This is upper 2017. Now, upper 2017 says that either you are citing for the first time or you are citing for the second time, regardless of the number of times that you are citing, please and please, you are going to use the word author. How do you do this? We've done it here. Now, I'm citing this particular authors or the article for the first time, or even the second time, the third time. No matter the number of times I'm going to use the article in my work, you still follow the same thing. What will I write? Upper 2017 says that I'll write Everett et al. full stop and comma, 2017. Sorry, 2020. Note, this is when I am citing at the end of, this is when I am citing at the end of a statement. This applies to, what you are seeing here applies to when you are citing at the end of a statement. Now, let's assume that I want to cite these people at the beginning of a statement. There is also a little difference in the way we are going to cite it, just like it applies to when we are citing two authors at the beginning of a statement and at the end of a statement. Now, let me come back here. I'm citing Everett et al. At the beginning of a statement. That will be according to Everett et al. Full stop alone, 2020. Sorry, full stop alone, 2020. I hope you can see. According to Everett et al. 2020, it's just one here. There is no comma. That's the difference. There's no comma. But when we are citing at the end of a statement here, there is comma, there is full stop. That's the difference. But when we are citing at the beginning of a statement, after the full stop, we just open a bracket and put the year. There won't be anything called comma. Now, assuming this author 2 is more than 3, assuming there are 4. Assuming there are 4, like let's say a little bit, then we say we still have Olajide, or 4 or 5, we still have Somi. It will still take the same step, the same shape. According to APA 2017, please. APA 2017, which is in recent, which is the one that is being used presently. Assuming your university is still using APA 2016, we are not going to follow this style. But because this video is getting long, I do not want to continue. That will be the end of this video for now. In the previous video, I will continue from where we stop, and I will explain the little difference between APA 2017 and APA 2016. So in case your university is still using APA 2016 instead of APA 2017. So, see you in the next video. Bye. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please make sure you do and share with your friend, because I am very sure it will be very, very useful to them. See you in the next video.